Welcome, everyone. Let's celebrate together the fabulous occasion of the 99th birthday of our dearest Dada, Dada J.P. Vaswani. One of the most amazing part of the celebration is the moment of calm. It's hard, really hard to forgive, and even harder to forget. I speak from personal experience. I feel stupid and foolish to have wasted so many years being deeply hurt and so troubled over someone who has wronged me. But I also feel grateful for the blessings and wisdom that has helped me forgive. And I have never ever felt so good thereafter. So join into this moment of calm. Don't let hurt or grudge get to you. With Dada's grace, be the master of the situation, and Dada will help us drive ourselves to a more happier life. Join in, strengthen it, make forgiveness part of your life. Join in the forgiveness campaign on August 2nd at 2 p.m. by forgiving anyone and everyone who you think has wronged you. And now we have Darshan. It's an inspirational journey of Sadhu Vaswani's life and teachings. Here we have that something different from movies, different from Netflix, from water parks, from clubhouses, from your iPhones, from your iPads, something that will stir your heart and inspire your life, something that will create an imprint on your soul. Darshan, a play of light and sound, of music, of inspiration, of technology and art that can forever change your life. Darshan is open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Thursdays. So join us. Enjoy the magic of Darshan. And now we will all hear an inspirational verse from the Nuri Granth. The Nuri Granth is a collection of thousands of poems and songs that are penned by Sadhu Vaswani. Sadhu Vaswani's life was aligned with God, and therefore each moment in his life was so divine, so flowing. These bhajans and poems are a spontaneous outpouring from the devotion and love of Sadhu Vaswani's heart.
सुख सागर में आए के मत जाओ रे प्यासा प्यारे निज सुख निर्मल सोई पावे जो मन खे मारे मारे मत जाओ रे प्यासा उठ जाग प्यारे जप नाम सवेला पी पी प्यारे यह अमृत वेला मत जाओ रे प्यासा मत जाओ रे प्यासा गफलत छोड़ देख संतन मेला जग से जावत एक एक अकेला मत जाओ रे प्यासा मत जाओ रे प्यासा, रोज बहत है अमृत धारा, भूलत नूरी सगल संसारा, मत जाओ रे प्यासा, मत जाओ रे प्यासा।
Melody and music hold their own charm in drawing the mind. Many of us find it difficult to meditate, difficult to sit in silence. Our minds wander all the time. But bhajans and kirtans, which are the constant repetition of the name of God, set in a melodious rhythm, help us to transcend easily to a more elevated plane. It's an easy way to God. Today with us is someone who is our own, our very own, and someone whom we love to listen to because she transports us into a different world. Our very own Seema Ramchandani with her nightingale voice. I think that's too mild an applause. We need more enthusiasm. Over to you, Seema.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Are we all ready to sing? So let me hear you sing that. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I think you can do better than that. Can we try that again? Haan, na kuch. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. गिरी दरी क्या कमी दादा जो यहाँ भर के जाएंगे. 21 years ago, I sang this on his birthday. It's a tradition. मुरादें लेके आए हैं, दुआएं लेके जाएंगे. मुरादें लेके आए हैं, दुआएं लेके जाएंगे. दुआएं जो मांगे ठाकुर अपने दे, सोई सोई दे। जो मांगे ठाकुर अपने दे, सोई सोई दे। नानक दास मुख ते जो बोले, इहा उहा सच होवे। नानक दास मुख ते जो बोले, इहा उहा सच होवे। जो मांगे ओ दाता, जो मांगे ठाकुर अपने दे, सोई सोई दे। चतुर दिशा कीनो बल अपना, सिर ऊपर कर धारियो। चतुर दिशा कीनो बल अपना, सिर ऊपर कर धारियो। कृपा करता अवलोकन कीनो, दास का दुख बिदारियो। कृपा करता अवलोकन कीनो, दास का दुख बिदारियो। जो मांगे ठाकुर अपने दे, सोई सोई दे रे। जो मांगे हर जन राखे गुरु गोबिंद, राखे गुरु गोबिंद। हर जन राखे गुरु गोबिंद। कंठी लाई अब गुण सब मीठे, दयाल पुरख बख्शिंद। कंठी लाई अब गुण सब मीठे, दयाल पुरख बख्शिंद। जो मांगे ठाकुर अपने दे, सोई सोई दे। ओ दाता, जो मांगे
As we are gathered together, let us bow our heads and open our hearts to pray for our beloved Dada. Prayer is the most powerful and unutilized gift that God has blessed us with to connect with Him. Let us utilize this divine power together as one and pray from the very depths of our hearts to bless our beloved Dada with a long life filled with good health, strength, and energy. Together, now let us watch the prayer AV.
सबका अनमोल है उनसे नाता, यूं ही हर पल रहे साथ दादा, है यही प्रार्थना तुझसे दाता, यूं ही हर पल रहे साथ दादा.
And now, a few words about the tremendous work that is being done by Sadhu Vaswani Mission. Dada's primary teaching is we must do as much good as we can in many ways as we can to as many as we can. This is practically reflected in the various service centers and activities of Sadhu Vaswani Mission, a humanitarian organization with its headquarters located here in Pune, and it has centers spread in every part of India and outside India. Everywhere, the centers are involved in many activities, spiritual, social, and charitable, and activities that range from multi-specialty medical care, education for women, rural development, animal welfare, construction and repairs of home for the homeless, alternative medicine, support in financial aid of marriages of girls from needy families, rehabilitation of victims in disaster-stricken areas, provision of food to orphanages, destitute and old age homes, hospitals, prisons. The amount of work that is being done is endless. Strengthen us, join us, make our cause stronger. Visit our website, www.sadhuvaswani.org. All this work will be incomplete until we have your participation and your energy. You are all invited to beloved Dada's 99th birthday celebrations in programs that include the following. On Monday, July 31st, 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. is Meditative Mantras by Ashok Khosla, followed by The Quest, a theatrical performance. On Tuesday, August 1st, from 6:30 to 8 p.m., we have a very interesting premiere of the musical film, My Idol. I'm sure we all know who the idol is. On Wednesday, August 2nd, beloved Dada's 99th birthday, join us from 7:30 a.m. onwards for the blessed program of 108 Havans, Bhog of the Nuri Granth, and Sri Guru Granth Sahib parts. From 11:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. is soulful bhajans, Sheva, and revered Dada J.P. Vaswani's Roo Rehan in Sindhi, and are we all not feeling a little lighter, happier, and more joyous? It's no secret. It's because we now have Dada with us. Dada's books. Dada's vision for a better world, a world of peace and positivity, and simple directives to fulfill the vision can cure the world of its problems. Carry home Dada's vision, his insight, his solutions to tackle your challenges and problems that you face every day, and you will not be alone in handling them. His wisdom will guide you. His reassuring messages and teachings will strengthen you. Today, on this special occasion, we have a special 50% discount on all the books during this blessed birthday week. And now we will have the book launch. A question that is often put to dear Dada is, Dada, in spite of whatever happens to you, we always see you with a beaming smile and a radiant face. What is the secret behind this? To gain some insights into this answer is Dada's book, It's All a Matter of Attitude. We now have a special guest, Mr. Balakrishna Shroff, to launch this book. We have one more interesting thing to share with you today. In keeping with the technological age, we are so happy to share with you the upcoming release of an app. It's called Simply Love. It's on Dada and the Sadhu Vaswani mission. I invite Rajan Navnani to give you more information on the app.
A very good evening to all of you, ladies and gentlemen. Please, all of you join me as we wish Dada a very happy 99th birthday. I think all the claps will not be enough as we see Dada enter into what will mark a centenary year on Wednesday, August 2nd. And as a tribute, we kept talking to Dada and asking, Dada, what is that one quality or that one message that you think humanity needs today? And what might be the best way to take it out to all the people in the world? As we know, there are about 2.5 billion people today in the world who are already on the internet, digitally accessing, spending a lot of their time in that area. And what better medium than that to take out a message of universal love, a message that Dada believes is the one attribute that can help save and better the world that we live in. So with that thought, what we have actually come up with, and you will see it on the 2nd of August, which will be launched when the Prime Minister gives his address. You can go and watch it on that app. It's called Simply Love. It's a one-stop digital destination for everything relating to Dada. It is the one place where you will be able to start each of your days with an inspirational message from Dada. You will be able to explore hand-picked content, audio, talk, stories, virtual tours, 360-degree views of this ashram and Dada's presence. You will feel the reality wherever you are in the world. You know, Dada always says, stay connected. And I know many of you sitting in this room do not need a digital device or a digital medium to stay connected to Dada. But that is the method in which we hope and pray that the world will connect to Dada and through Dada to that one attribute that Dada so strongly believes that can change the world, and that's simply love.
Thank you, Rajan. That sounds just awesome. And on a personal note, I'm very excited because I think my teenage son would be interested, and so would all my young nephews and nieces. So this is really reaching out to the younger generation. Awesome. Thank you. We now introduce Kabir Bedi to you. He's no stranger. He's one of the stars of Bollywood. In a career spanning nearly 45 years, he has been involved in television, film, theatre, and radio in India and abroad. An extremely versatile and talented actor, Mr. Bedi is respected both in India and abroad. He has won several awards of high merit in his lifetime. He has acted in many historical epic roles, which has earned him the title of one of India's most successful international actors. A warm welcome to him.
Friends and fellow devotees of the Lord, you are with me, and that is all that I need. You are a source of strength. You are a source of inspiration. I bow down to every one of you, and I seek your blessings. It is such a joy to be in your midst this evening. Let my first word be a word of gratitude. I feel grateful to the organizers of this beautiful meet for having called me here and given me an opportunity of associating myself with a function which I value highly. I feel grateful to our chief guest, Mr. Kabir Bedi, and his dear devoted wife. They have come all the way from Bombay to give us the blessings of their brave, beautiful hearts. I feel grateful to them, and I feel grateful to every one of you. As I said, I bow down to you, and I seek your blessing. Friends, in His mercy, God has taken me to many places, many countries. Wherever I have gone, the question has been put to me, does man have free will? Does man have free will? Or does he move on a way which has been paved for him already? As one moves on the pathways of life, he has to make choices. He needs immediate answers. Which job should he take? What car should he purchase? Whom should he marry? Or decide not to marry at all? When should he start having a family? I believe that man has freedom. If he so desires, he can become new overnight. At every step, in every round of life, man has freedom of choice. Dr. Viktor Frankl, author of the book Man's Search for Meaning, was imprisoned by the Nazis in the Second World War because he was a Jew. His wife, his children, and his parents were all killed in the Holocaust. The Gestapo made him strip. There he stood totally naked. But Victor, so he writes in the book, Victor said to himself, "You can take away my wife, you can take away my children, you can strip me of my clothes and my freedom. But there is one thing no person can ever take away from me, and that is my freedom to choose how I will react what happens to me." This is important. Life is full of hard choices, and not oftentimes we have more than one option. The more the options, the harder it becomes to decide. When there are two options, it is easy to decide which one to take. Get into the lift or climb the staircase. The choice is easy. But if there are more choices, it sometimes becomes difficult to choose which one. To be able to make the right choice, you must quieten. You must quieten the mind. You must calm your senses. You must open your heart. You must practice the presence of God. Practicing the presence means striking a relationship with God. Make God your father, your brother, your mother, your friend. Go to God again and again. Talk to God as you would to a relation or to a friend. Feel that God is all the time by your side. This reminds me of the beautiful words which dear Rajan spoke to us a little while ago. I thank him for his beautiful advice. God is all the time by our side. When the mind wanders, practice the presence by repeating a simple prayer like, I love you, God, or simply, God, God, God. Repeating affirmations are also helpful. You must affirm what you want, not what you don't want. This is very important. You must affirm only what you want. There is the law of attraction which states that the universe is a huge copy machine. It does not judge whether what you desire is right or wrong. It simply draws you closer to what you desire. Some of you must have read the Katha Upanishad. In the Katha Upanishad, Nachiketas, the young man, the young boy, is told that man can make a choice between prayer and Shreya. Prayer is the pleasant. Prayer is that which gives pleasure. To move on the way of pleasure does not need an effort. You simply glide over it. It gives you a little pleasure, but it ultimately leads to your doom. Shreya is the path that leads to your highest good. It is a difficult path. It is a thorny path. It is a stony path. It is a path paved with flames. But as I said, it is a path which leads to your highest good. So many of us move on the path of prayer. Very few, very, very few move on the path of Shreya. We have the freedom to move on the path of prayer or Shreya. Blessed are those who choose to move on the path of Shreya. It is the path of spirituality. Two of the noblest sadhanas, disciplines of spiritual life, are firstly humility and secondly acceptance of humiliation. The flower of humility grows on the dark soil of humiliations. Without humiliation, there is no humility. And without humility, what is man? Have not the saints of God sung again and again, He who heaps humiliations on me, he is my true friend. For he doth open to me the To the pilgrim who wishes to move on the path of Shreya, let me pass on a few practical suggestions. Practical suggestion number 1. He must always speak the truth. Gurudev Sadhu Vaswani said, "Truth, though she lead me through the flames, truth, though she take me to the scaffold." I could give you many examples, but there is no time. There is the example of George Ballantyre. He spoke of his experiences, and he said he was 7 years old. Then he spoke a lie. Then he spoke an untruth. And his mother called him. And she said to him, "You know, George, I love you more than I love my own life. And yet let me tell you, I would rather see you dead than that you speak an untruth." George said, "The words went into my heart. And ever since, I have never spoken an untruth." What is there that mothers cannot do? Practical suggestion number 2. The person who wishes to move on the path of Shreya rejoices in whatever God's will brings to him. He accepts every incident, every accident as God's will. In the measure in which we accept His will, in that measure we are guided to make the right choice. There was a man who suffered from cancer. His wife, his children were shaken. His friends were deeply concerned. But this young man did not despair. He was firm in his faith, and he said, "I have cancer, but cancer does not have me." And with his courage, he soon emerged victorious, amazing the doctors with his rapid recovery. Every experience in life can make you either bitter or better. The choice is yours. Practical suggestion number 3. Such a person cultivates the attitude of gratitude. I read of a man who for one morning every month pretends to be blind. He wakes without opening his eyes. He fumbles his way to the kitchen to make coffee, then heads off to the bathroom to shower and brush his teeth. He eats a bowl of cold cereal and dresses himself and doesn't open his eyes until he gets behind the wheel of his car to go to work. He does this so he can live in gratitude of the many gifts in his life, least among them the gift of sight. There was a man who said the motto of his life was think and thank. When we think of all God's favors, we naturally become thankful. Practical suggestion number 4, develop a sense of humor. Learn to laugh, especially at yourself. I could give you many examples, but time is running fast. Practical suggestion number 5, serve as many as you can, on as many occasions as you can, in as many ways as you can, and as long as you can. We are here to serve each other. It is the spirit of service that connects us with others. Practical suggestion number 6, live in the moment. Live in the moment. The past is gone forever. You can't bring it back. The future you cannot avoid. Your present is always unrestrained. When things get hectic, try to be centered. It is only in this moment that we are our perfect selves. Practical suggestion number 7, be filled with the spirit of courage. If you have courage, you can do anything. If you don't have courage, you will always hesitate to do anything. You have gathered here because you have the courage to do so. My friends, there can be many more practical suggestions, but even if you take one of these and make it part of your life, you will find that you are a new person, full of hope, full of health, full of happiness. There lived a wise king who had 2 sons. Once, when he fell gravely ill, he decided it was time to choose his successor. He called his sons and gave them each a room. He said, "You must fill this room completely with anything that you wish. It can be anything, but there should be no space left behind you, and you should not seek advice from anyone." The next day, the king visited the elder son's room. The room was completely filled with hay. The king sighed at the foolishness of the elder boy. Then he went to the younger son's room. The second son asked his father to come in and close the door behind him. There was darkness everywhere. The king became angry. But just then, the second son lit a candle and said, "I have filled this room with light." The king immediately knew who was to be the rightful successor. With this note, let me close my little talk to you. we will now have a question and answer session. As I have repeatedly said, questions can be asked by anyone and answers to can be given by anyone. If you find that you have a better answer to a question than the one I have given, kindly don't hesitate in asking for the mic. Nothing will make me happier than to leave this hall having been enlightened by your wisdom, by your experience, by your knowledge.
Dada Vaswani ji, I am extremely honored and blessed to be called to talk to you on this occasion. When I was asked to come, I thought, what a wonderful opportunity this is. Because I've always in my life had many spiritual experiences and streams of thought behind me. From my father's side, there is Guru Baba Nanak. We are supposed to be descendants of Guru Baba Nanak. From my mother's side, she became a Buddhist nun. From the ethos in which I grew up, there was Hinduism, there was Islam, there was Christianity. And I've always been curious, even as a student of history in Delhi University, to discover more about life and spirituality and what it all means. Right from my college days, I would go to listen to Jiddu Krishnamurti, I would listen to Osho, I would listen to a number of philosophers, both here and in the many, many years I spent in California. And somehow, some of them touched me, some of them left me unmoved. And I decided I'm going to come here with a completely open mind. So when I met Dada this afternoon, just sensing where he was coming from, I felt a great sense of joy. I felt there was a wonderful being in my presence, a wonderful energy that radiated towards me. And it was very moving for me. So when I say I'm honored to be here, it's not just because I was invited, but because I came here and personally discovered something far greater in the form of Reverend Dada Vaswani. Of course, before coming here, I'd looked at some of his works, read about some of the things he'd written about, talked about, believed. And it was quite amazing to see how non-dogmatic he was, how open his attitude to life is, how much he gives to the power of love, to the power of forgiveness, to the power of selflessness and giving to others. These are, in a sense, simple messages. But until you actually understand their meaning through a person whose life has been given to this, you don't fully understand the import of it. And so, it is with great humility and joy that I come to ask a few questions of you and consider myself extremely fortunate. Reverend Dada Vaswani ji was brilliant from his youth. He matriculated at 13. He graduated from college at 17. He gave himself to a spiritual life when he was 21. And although there were many examples of the spiritual soul that he is earlier in his life, but he gave himself completely to his Guru, age 21. And today on his 99th birthday, we have the fruits of all those years of his wisdom, understanding, teaching, preaching, and sharing. And what touched me most when I was sitting here just now was how he began by bowing to you, by thanking you, by showing gratitude. This only a great soul can do, because we know it comes from a place of great sincerity. His ability to bring everyone together in that sense of spirit of oneness, spirit of social service, spirit of caring, just emerges from his very words and his presence. And so I'm very happy to have been called. And again I repeat, blessed to be here.
Sir, I'm only a broken piece of glass. You are the sun that shines over it, and it appears to be a jewel.
It is your greatness that says so, Dada. It is your greatness and compassion that says so. I was handed a number of questions that have come in from all over the world, and frankly, if I have to get the answers to all this, we will all be here till breakfast. So I will have to cut through shorten these questions a bit. But I wanted to ask Dada some questions regarding the power of prayer. The power of prayer, of praying. Because when I come here, I see there are references to Ram and Krishna and Shiv and Guru Nanak Dev and God knows how many other great figures. So when one prays, Dada, who does one pray to?
Within each one of us, there is a source of unlimited power.
Within each one of us, there is a source of unlimited power.
That remains closed. Prayer only takes the lid
Of that,
Yes. It is to our own selves that we pray. We carry that power within ourselves.
That's extremely profound.
We have only to unfold it. We have only to open it.
So we are praying, in a sense, to our own higher self.
Yes.
We are praying to our own higher self. This is so amazing what Dada says here, because I have many friends. Some of them are agnostic, some of them are great believers, some are Hindus, Christians, Muslims, Sikh, etc. And they all have their own temples and they all have their places of worship. And to those that, or the agnostics, or more, or the atheists, so what is the point of all these temples, etc.? What is the thing? It's ultimately all about life, etc. I always say that, these temples, these places, at least there is a place where we can go and think about our inner self, and think about our higher self, and think about our spiritual self. So Dada says to me, what you're worshipping, what you're praying to, is your higher self. That brings everything together for me, because it just makes that much more clearer that the journey of prayer is a journey to your own higher self. When one prays, Dada, is it okay to pray for your own well-being?
To begin with, yes.
But in the larger sense, it must be.
Then gradually we begin to realize that we don't need to pray especially for material things. Because things as they are the best for us. That realization comes as one moves along the path of prayer.
But Dada, if we are not satisfied with the way things are for us, then how does one deal with that? If we are not satisfied with our reality, with what is happening in our life, how does one rise above, try and rise above that? What energies do we put out?
This that we see all around us is not real. This is more like a dream. You come out of the dream. Maybe in this particular life or in a later janma, we come out of it. We realize then that it was all a dream.
Yes, yes. But to some, Dada, the dream feels very real. So they have to deal with the reality of that dream.
When you are dreaming, the dream appears very near,
Right.
very real. People even cry out.
Yes.
It is so real to them that they cry.
Therefore, if there are dissatisfactions, one should look at it as a dream one is going through and not worry about it too much, knowing that there are larger, greater realities that await us or surround us. Would that be right?
We should explain to us. Yes.
So, Dada, when we talk about God, how do you define God? How do you define God? How do you see God? How do you...
God defined is God denied.
God defined is God denied.
Is God denied. Because words, they have limitations.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Words cannot express what God is. God, therefore, is to be realized.
Right.
We have to make Him real to us in daily life. Yes.
God is the creator. Is God the creator of all we have, all that surrounds us?
Yes.
He's the creator.
Yes.
So how can we come to terms, Dada, with all the misery in the world, all the suffering in the world? Why does a compassionate God allow such suffering in the world?
When God created you, when He created me, when He created the rest of humanity, He gave us the same amount of freedom which He kept for Himself.
Right.
I have the freedom to move on the right path or on the left path. That was the subject that we dealt with a little while ago, prayer and Shreya. The difficulty is that we choose ourselves to move on the path of prayer, and thereby we create difficulties.
But let me clarify this, Dada, because when you say prayer, you're talking about prayer, the prayer that we do, or prayer in another sense? Prayer, when you say, is the prayer that we do, or prayer is another thing?
Prayer is?
Prayer is something that we pray to, like we do prayer, or is prayer and Shreya in a different sense? Prayer is a different thing in prayer and Shreya.
They are different things.
Different thing. I just want to clarify that. Because
Prayer is the path, the path of pleasure.
The path of pleasure.
Pleasure.
So it's called prayer,
Yes.
as opposed to prayer in English.
Yes, yes.
Right,
Prayer,
right,
Shreya, yes.
right. Now it's important to clarify that because the word prayer in Hindi or Sanskrit has one meaning, and the word prayer in English is completely a different meaning. So we wouldn't want people to get confused.
Prayer is प्यारा, जो प्यारा लगता है,
जी.
हमको कुर्सी लग्जूरियस चाहिए, प्यारा लगता है.
Yeah.
That is prayer.
But Dada, what is wrong with a luxurious chair? What is wrong? What is wrong with a luxurious chair? Why not a luxurious chair? Huh? Luxurious chair में क्या खराबी है?
What is wrong? What is wrong with a luxurious chair? What is wrong?
Nothing is wrong, but we want it.
Right,
Our want is wrong.
right.
The chair is not wrong.
Yes. No, what you're saying is extremely profound because even as the Buddha said, so much suffering comes from our wanting.
Our want.
Our wanting, and wanting becomes the root of so much suffering.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Since we're talking about the Buddha, what are your thoughts on the Buddha? On Gautama Buddha? What are your thoughts and feelings about him? About Buddha?
I think of him as Buddha.
Of course.
Yes. The emancipated
Right. Now,
Buddha.
one thing has always puzzled me, Dada. There's so many great figures in history who've come, who became from the Buddha to all the Hindu gods to Islam, to Christianity and Jesus Christ. But they don't all say the same things. Why is it that they perceive the spiritual reality as different?
They offer the same thing, but we don't take them to be the same.
Right.
That is our difficulty.
Right.
The great ones come, and through the witness of their love-filled, sacrifice-filled life, they give us examples. But we don't follow the example.
Right.
We take up their words and give to those words our own meanings and move along our own way. This is our difficulty.
Right.
Yes.
So it is okay to believe in any one of them as long as it raises
Yes.
your own consciousness.
Yes.
Because ultimately at the root of every religion there is
There
humanity.
have been great ones in every religion. In fact, the founders have been so great. Christ was great. Muhammad was great.
Yes. So, in terms of, because for instance, Christianity doesn't talk about karma, but Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, all the Eastern religions talk about karma. So, is karma to be believed or not believed? Obviously you believe in karma, I've heard your talks and the importance of karma. But tied to the question of karma is also the question of whether destiny exists or is it free will that exists?
I think it is wrong to say that Christ did not believe in karma, because Christ himself has said on one occasion that I am that particular prophet reborn.
Right.
Rebirth and karma go together. They are the two sides of the same coin. So there are so many things that Christ believed in, but the church does not believe in them.
Yes, in the Dead
Yes.
Sea Scrolls and the writings of the Essenes,
Yes.
there is talk of
Yes.
rebirth and
Yes.
incarnation.
It is our interpretation which is not correct.
Right,
Yeah.
right. There's so many questions, I don't even know where to begin out here. For instance, one question has come in, you were talking earlier about the making the right choice. And one question says, what if a person working for an organization where there is a lot of wrong taking place, the leader of the organization is doing something wrong, is it better to move out or speak up, or what is the right choice?
If I were in this place, I would not speak up, because I do not know all the circumstances that led to that particular point.
Right.
I would leave it to the law of karma to handle the situation. Yes.
Someone else has written here, Dada, you always tell us to do our duty, but I don't really enjoy what I do. How do I know I'm on the right path?
There was a man who did not enjoy eating a particular type of food. His wife pressed him again and again just to taste, at least for once. And when he did it, he said, it's such a wonderful thing. So all he needs to do is to approach his duty in that spirit. He will begin to enjoy it.
Right. As the title of your book says, it's all a matter of attitude. So, yes, I mean, obviously thinking has a very fundamental and profound effect on our reality. And also the thinking of others around us. So, if one has to deal with negative energies around us, how does one best deal with that? Whether in the workplace, whether in the personal space, there are people with negative energies around you. Do you give them love and compassion, or do you just walk away?
Firstly, don't let a negative quality enter your mind. Be very careful. We have to be like the guards who stand outside at the gates.
Right.
They will not let thieves come in. It is not that they will let the thieves come in and then try to drive them out. They will not let them come in. That is point number one that we must do. The second point is that as soon as a negative thought comes to me, I should immediately replace it by a positive thought.
Replace it with a positive
Yes.
thought.
I should tell that negative thought, there is no place for you in my mind. My house is full. I cannot permit you to come.
We in the film industry like housefuls.
And the other thing that I can do, and which at least worked in my case, I remember when I was a college student, sometimes taking down notes. Out of nowhere, seemingly, out of nowhere, an evil thought would enter the mind. Then right then I would slap myself.
Wow.
And my co-students, they used to ask me, what was it? I used to tell them it was a mosquito. There is no mosquito worse than an evil thought.
Right. There's no mosquito worse than an evil thought.
Yeah.
Amazing. Again, talk about making choices in life, which you were talking about earlier, Dada. If somebody has to make a right choice for themselves, but in the process it hurts somebody else. How do you reconcile the two?
We must find out a way so that we can get the thing done, what we want to do, but not hurt anybody.
Is that always possible, Dada? Sometimes you have to make a choice whether to make a certain journey or not make a certain journey. Another person wants you or doesn't want you to do that.
I think through prayer it is possible.
Dada, I want to make a confession. I have been married 4 times. I'm not saying I made 3 wrong choices before, because each of them had their own place. But obviously it was not the right choice in terms of a relationship of a lifetime. So, where did I go wrong? I mean, I know you don't know the particularities of my life and case, but in general, where does one make fundamentally wrong decisions about, say, life partners?
Your wrong is taking 3 wives to be a wrong thing.
I didn't say they were wrong.
It is not wrong.
I didn't say they were wrong.
All those 3 wives, they had to teach you something.
Right, right.
You should take this experience in that way and convert it from wrong into right.
Right.
There are so many things that people consider to be wrong, but they are not wrong.
Right. But obviously, as I said, I learned a lot from them.
Yes.
We grew up together in many ways. We
Yes.
shared many things,
Yes.
children as well.
Yes.
So,
But there is one thing that I must remember. Every little thing that I do must have the strength of love in it. I should do it with love. I should not let hate enter my mind.
right.
Because my wife has not behaved in the right way, I must hate her. No.
Right.
Let love rule your life. Then do what you will.
Obviously, every parent or most parents love their children. Now, when you want to discipline your children, and you can't do it through love alone, what must one do?
I think that the very thought that a particular entity is my child is wrong. So I begin with a wrong idea. It is sure to lead me along a wrong way.
Right.
Our children are not our children. They have been given to us by a beneficent providence for their and our training. This should be the attitude of every parent, which it is not.
Very profound, Dada, very profound. But at the same time, even if they are children given to us by the universe to take care of, to learn from, if they are doing something wrong that we can clearly see is wrong, hurting an animal or keeping on doing something bad, is there a way of disciplining them? Because merely giving love sometimes doesn't work. You sometimes say, okay, there's a punishment. You won't get any money. You'll be locked up in a room. Maybe some parent will give the child a slap.
maybe you are not doing with the right spirit. I was sitting one day with a holy man when one of his disciples, this is a true story, one of his disciples came running and he said to the holy man, "Your husband has committed a wrong, the police have caught him. I have influence over the police. If you permit me, I will have him released. Otherwise, and the whole family will be brought to shame." You know what the holy man said? Whose family? Whose family? If the boy has done wrong, let the police deal with him.
Right.
And actually, he was sent to jail, the boy, for 6 months. He came out of it a transformed being.
So it was good for him.
Yes,
And so if a parent has to discipline a child,
so
bearing love in their
what
heart,
you think you are loving, what you think you are doing in love, you are spoiling the child.
Right, right.
It is our way of looking at things which is wrong.
You know, today when I first met Dada Vaswani in the afternoon, I asked him, I said, "Dadaji, have you ever been married?" And he said, no. And then he narrated to me, you know, how, the story of how his mother was very keen that he gets married and took him to an astrologer. And the astrologer said, "You come at a fantastic time. This Rashi is such that he's going to get married this year." Dada Vaswani said, "It's not going to happen." And that man said, "If it doesn't happen, I will shave off my moustache and my beard." What did you say, Dada? Dada said, "No need to do that, it's not going to happen." So he saved his whiskers, even though Dada didn't get married. But Dada, basically, somebody who wants to be on the spiritual path, a really deep spiritual path, does he need to renounce family? Does he need to renounce or not get married? Do you have to remain single to follow the spiritual path in its deepest sense?
I beg your pardon. What is the question?
The question is, if somebody wants to follow
Yes,
a spiritual path
yes.
deeply, is it necessary for him
No,
not to get married?
no. Nothing is that. All the great ones have married. Guru Nanak married. Krishna married. I don't know if he knew all his wives.
That's true.
It is only Sri Rama who said that a person must not have more than one wife. But Muhammad had 13 wives. He married
Right.
13. Yes.
And you were not inspired by any of them? I said, you were not inspired by any of them?
Perhaps I'm still searching.
You know, when I met Dada, I said to him, congratulations on your 99th birthday. And he said, but I'm 9. I'm 9. So, but, you know, it shows that he's constantly in touch with that inner child that is always creative, always curious, always in wonder of the world. And through his 99 years, he's not lost contact with that inner child that speaks up, that says, I'm still looking. Now, a very simple question. A lot of time people know something is a bad habit. They know something is a bad habit. Whether it's smoking or whatever you consider a bad habit. And yet they do it. And yet they do it. Why? I mean, they get some joy from it, obviously, but their common sense is telling them this is not a good habit, don't do it, and yet they do. What is that mechanism that makes us do wrong things even when we know they are wrong?
That is the definition of a habit.
Right.
Habit, H-A-B-I-T. Cut off its H, a bit still remains.
So cut off the H?
Cut off H of habit, a bit will remain.
A bit will remain.
H-A-B-I-T.
Right.
A B-I-T will remain.
Right.
Cut off its A, bit will still remain. Cut off its B, it will still remain. Cut off its I, if there is no other habit, there is the habit of T. T will still remain.
So tea as a habit is okay. Tea as a habit is a good thing. Right. When young people come to you, and I know you have a great interest in young people because of all your educational institutions, the incredible work you have done across India, across the world actually, and how you believe in the future generations.
Young people come to a young man.
Young man. So, if young people come to you and say, Dada, give us some advice, say something to us, what would you be inclined to say? Is there any standard advice you give them? Do you look at them personally and think, okay, for this child, this advice is needed? How do you approach that?
I would give them the very advice which I give to myself.
Which is?
Turn back to God.
Turn back to God.
Right. We have thrown God out of our homes, out of our educational institutions. These two are the centers of character making. Therefore we have lost our character. There was a time, I remember, when I was in the school, the walls of our house, they carried pictures of these great ones, Christ, Buddha, Mahavir.
Yes. Right.
Now if you go to their homes, you find that that there are pictures of athletes or of actresses.
But Dada, why is this so?
This is
Why is this happening?
because of the time spirit.
Because of the
Time spirit.
times.
Times change. This will also change. We will again have Christ on the wall. We will again have Krishna looking at us. It's because of that time. Yeah.
So how do you see the future, Dada? The future of India, the future of humanity. How do you see it? Are you optimistic? Are you?
Oh, future is wonderful. Wonderful. This is a transition period. Yeah.
Yes. No, because there's always people who talk of doom and gloom and say the end of the world is coming, and the great times have gone. We're coming into Kali Yuga, and this is going to destroy us all.
No. People who talk of the end of the world, they keep on postponing.
Yes.
They keep on postponing the date. It is like the doctor who told his patient that you have only 2 more weeks to live. And then gave him a bill. The bill was for 6,000 rupees. And he told the doctor, how can I give you 6,000 in 2 weeks? I am too poor to do. All right, then I give you two still more weeks. I give you a whole. So it is more like that.
Right.
Yeah, yes.
Yes, I remember when it was like 12, 12, 12, that time, and everyone was saying end of the world, Mayan prophecies, people went up into the mountains and everyone claimed it's going to be the end of the world. And the only question I asked everyone, I said, when these people went to these retreats, did they buy a one-way ticket or did they buy a return ticket as well? So, Dada's right. Such doomsayers always postpone the end to make that happen. Let me just ask you something about rebirth, if I may. Can we choose where we will be reborn?
Our actions choose. Our actions, they choose for us. But that is ourselves.
But it's not a when you say actions, it's not a conscious decision one makes that I will be, or some kind of focus you can put to say, I wish to be reborn in this country or this place or this family. Is there anything we can do to influence where we are reborn?
The law of karma decides for us. Taking into account the life that we have lived, the decision is made. I cannot live like a murderer and be reborn as a saint. The law of karma looks into the diary and decides what I am to be in my next birth. But I can keep on praying in this life that I should be reborn here and live in such a way as though I am already living there.
Right.
That will help.
Almost visualize it. Almost.
That will help.
That will help.
That will help.
In Hinduism, we have this incredible situation where they say 33 crore devta hain, Devi devta. All of them have got different attributes. One is Indra, one is Varuna, one is Shiva, one is Vishnu. Are these figures that we hear of, the major gods that we know about, are they symbols or are they real energies?
It is that they have a big wardrobe.
A big wardrobe.
God is one, but He puts on different dresses
Right.
at different times. But He is one.
But he must also have a great sense of screenplay because he has gods fighting each other and, generally being jealous of each other.
When they hug each other, they do it with a mirror in front of them.
Right. I just want to ask you a bit about your own personal journey. What are the points in your life that you considered turning points?
I am not yet there.
You've not reached that yet?
I ask you to bless me that I may tell.
Well, it's been absolutely wonderful talking to you, and I've been touched and moved and inspired, as have so many of our friends here. I thank you for this incredible opportunity.
I should thank you
No,
for
sir.
the wonderful questions that you put there, taught me so much.
No, sir.
Yes,
I
yes.
can ask you questions for another 10 hours, but
Yeah,
the
your
fact is, because there's so many things to learn and know from you.
Your questions are my teachers. Yes,
You honor me, you honor
Yes,
us all.
yes,
It's your greatness that says so.
yes.
Thank you very much, Dada. I will take leave, and let me just say that in my quest of meeting various religious heads, reading about various movements, I have, in my own sense, almost developed a nose where I feel this person is not the real thing, or where this person is a person of true and profound learning. Let me say with Dada, there's no question. I'm going to say extremely evolved being, evolved soul. He was spreading such joy and love to everyone that all I can do is salute him and touch his feet.
We thank you, Mr. Kabir Bedi, for being with us on such a special day. You've brought both the flair of Bollywood and Hollywood with you, and you added your own charm to the question and answer session. Thank you.